Hey, Phil here again. Yeah, just went and saw Big Eyes, and I gotta say, this is, I mean, I know I just said that Birdman was probably the best movie of 2014, but if anything, Big Eyes was almost close, but really, Birdman did a lot for me. Birdman felt more personal, I guess. I mean, not to say that Big Eyes wasn't personal, but, I don't know, Birdman was just even more personal in a way. But Big Eyes, now I will go and say that I do not know much about the whole Margaret Walter Keane thing and the Big Eye paintings. I don't know my stuff here, so I apologize if I may be speaking out of context, if I don't know, that I'm acting like, yeah, I don't know all the facts about this stuff. So I didn't even know anything about this until the movie came out, until I first heard about the movie and then I saw it. So yeah, but I will say this is probably one of the best Tim Burton movies I've seen in a while. I mean, I love Tim Burton movies. I love Beetlejuice, the Batman movies, Edward Scissorhands, my favorite Tim Burton movie of all, Mars Attacks, Corpse Bride, Nightmare, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Nightmare Before Christmas. I understand. Hey, Planet of the Apes, awful. Yes. The 2001 Planet of the Apes, okay? The 2001 Planet of the Apes movie, awful. Alice in Wonderland is okay. Dark Shadows was really kind of pushing it. Frankenweenie, I thought, was really Tim Burton going back to what he was doing before he did Alice in Wonderland and Dark Shadows, you know, like with Sweeney Todd and Demon Barber, Fleet Street, and Edward Scissorhands, and Nightmare Before Christmas, and Corpse Bride, and everything. It was really, I mean, yeah, Frankenweenie was kind of pushing it, though, with the Godzilla turtle and a cat that's able to make predictions through its poop. Yeah, that's kind of pushing it. But besides that, yeah, Big Eyes, it was, oh, and yeah, Ed Wood. I love Ed Wood, but well, speaking of Ed Wood, I mean, Tim Burton did actually work with the same guys who wrote Ed Wood. They wrote this movie and produced it as well. And it's a match made in heaven all over again here, because, I mean, Ed Wood, whereas Ed Wood was about was trying to tell the tale about Ed Wood, you know, the craziness he had to go through, being the man that he was, and trying to make the movies, the efforts that he went to. Sure, Ed Wood's movies were bad, but he was a guy who was trying to enjoy what he did and trying to make the best of things. Big Eyes, though, is a bit of a different story. I mean, for one, I mean, yeah, it's not black and white like Ed Wood, but it is trying to capture the craziness of these people, these artists, and their work, the efforts that they go to try to make their work. In particular, Margaret Keane here. For one, in this movie, I will say that for Big Eyes, it seems different for Tim Burton in the sense that it doesn't feel like his usual movies, which are all wacky and quirky and everything. This seems like a movie you kind of get out of, well, really anyone who could, I mean, almost anyone who could do the kind of movie about big, famous people, something that creating legal battles and stuff that ensue. In a way, it kind of makes me think if Tim Burton had done something similar to The Social Network, you know, and it's about, again, it's about these people who make something, right, and then someone comes up and says, hey, no, I made that, and the person who made it is like, no, I made that, and they get into legal battles with each other, and it's like, who are you going to root for here? But with The Social Network, it was very ambiguous. You know, you're not sure who to root for here. You're not sure who really created Facebook. Was it the Winklevoss twins? Was it Mark Zuckerberg? Who? You know, and personal and professional struggles that went along with it, you know. But with Big Eyes, it seems it's very clear who created the Big Eye paintings. It was Margaret Keane. Spoiler alert there. Yeah, Margaret Keane created the Big Eye paintings. You know, if you're going to go into this movie wondering, oh, who made the paintings? I mean, really, who did this? And I mean, well, even the previews made this obvious as to who made the paintings. But see, what I like about one of the things I really liked about this movie was really showing how the degradation of the character of Walter Keane. Now, I don't know what the real life Walter Keane is like. Plus, he's dead. So, and I'm not trying to I'm not trying to insult the guy or anything. But what I really liked how the character was written, and Christoph Waltz's performance, was how he presents himself as this suave, charming guy who swoos with. Is it swoos, Dave?
Swoons.
Swoons? Yeah, he swoons over ladies and he cons them into giving up their work so he can mark it off as his own. I really like that, because and then you see him for the scam artist that he is in the end. You know, you see him going downhill as the movie goes along. You're seeing his character go downhill. You're seeing his downfall, and I love that. I loved it, and Christoph Waltz is awesome here. But really, Amy Adams also stole the show here too, obviously, because she plays Margaret Keane, and it's really, it kind of makes you wonder. I mean, for one, I think the movie kind of captures that time period, the mindset of how things were like for artists in general, male and female. You know, males were put up on a higher pedestal. They were looked upon more as better than women, despite the fact that women were just as equally, if not more than, talented than the male artists. You know, it really captured that whole sexist attitude and mindset towards female artists, and you know, it's a shame that still happens to this day, you know, because there are a lot of great female writers and artists, creators in general, and it's a shame that sometimes that's still being done to this day, that whole sexist attitude. Wouldn't you say, Dave? I know we're kind of getting into a bit of a different argument here,
right, yeah,
but it's true, right? That's still happening to this day. You know, but see, Amy Adams, as she portrays Margaret Keane, she's really portraying Margaret Keane as a woman she's not just an artist, she's also a person who's trying to support herself and her daughter. And she kind of sold herself out, you know, allowing Walter to pawn off her work as his own, because she did it for her daughter and for herself too, but she did it so she could not be poor, not be, well, living poorly. It takes a lot of guts to do something like that. But regardless, it's still a shame that kind of sexist attitude was being applied towards women, and really, I guess that's, you know, maybe that's why Margaret Keane allowed that to happen at the time, with Walter pawning off her work as his own, because no one would give much credit to female artists, and that's really just a shame, because they do deserve credit. They do deserve credit for their work, and she was trying to be honest. You know, near the end of the story of the movie here, she was trying to finally be honest after all this time being under her husband's control, being under his thumb and everything. And oh man, I don't know if this actually happened in the actual legal battles here between Walter and Margaret Keane, like who did what with the paintings and everything, but oh man, It was so funny. See, okay, Walter had the help of some newspaper company lawyers, I guess, and the first thing that had to be settled was the matter of libel. You know, Margaret making false statements and or whatever, and as soon as they were done with their matter, then Walter was left on his own because they said, "You were only here to do the libel thing. You're on your own now." And Walter was like, "Okay, I'll defend myself." Yeah, the guy who couldn't paint worth for shit was gonna be his own attorney. And Danny Huston's character, the journalist, he says that everything he knew about courts and court proceedings and whatnot, he learned from watching Perry Mason. And oh man, it's just, if this actually happened in real life, oh man, I would have paid good money to travel back in time and go see it happen. Because it just, I mean, don't get me wrong, yeah, the situation in which Walter defends himself, he even calls himself as a witness and asks himself questions. He's filibustering his own trial. Oh man, it's just, it's so hilarious. It's just, it was very well written, very well directed, but if that actually happened, I would have paid good money to see it, just to laugh at it, just to laugh at the actual guy and say, "Wow, you're really doing this." I mean, I don't know if it actually happened in real life. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I don't know. But if it did happen in real life, I would have gone and seen it happen for myself. Maybe if it was on TV, maybe I would have seen it. I don't know. And then finally, the judge says to Margaret and Walter Keane that they must each produce a painting to prove who is the actual artist here. Of course, Margaret paints with relative ease. Walter, on the other hand, he doesn't do anything, and then he's like faking a shoulder injury, and of course the case rules in her favor. Yeah, spoiler alert for that. Sorry, but it was really well done. This movie was really good. It is definitely worth seeing, and I mean, again, for me it was a close second to being movie of the year for 2014, but I give it to Birdman. But yeah, and it's definitely one of Tim Burton's best. So yeah, definitely go check it out. So thanks for watching, and check you later.